Hey guys, Blade Check 101 here for another custom knife review for you today. Again, we're going to be doing another ECOSknives custom blade here. This one in particular is called, well, he gives it the name of a Talon design knife. Again, this is Jason from ECOSknives.com, ECOSknives.com. Basically, he does one-of-a-kind custom knives. As of today, February 8th, 2011, there is another knife kind of like this, just with a longer handle on his website, just in case you guys are interested, if one of you is interested in that. There is one in there, and it's very similar, other than the fact that it has a longer handle than this knife. But let's get into the review. Again, this is a custom, one-of-a-kind knife. So you won't find anything exactly like this again, but just as a general, deal. For this knife, you have a 2.5-inch cutting surface here. The steel on it is an 01 tool steel. I didn't know much about 01 until I got this knife, and I have to tell you, I absolutely love it. Overall, the uses of it are just legion. It holds such a great edge, and I have found that sharpening it is actually relatively easy if you have a good sharpening stone, and I highly recommend that if you're into knives that you get a good sharpening stone. It's worth it. The 01 tool steel is just superb. I have not used this knife for anything like in outdoors or anything like that yet. I don't see that it would be good for too much, other than maybe hunting, like a nice hunting trip or something, as a gut hook. Kind of has that that feel to it, for dragging it along. But I will say that this knife, in its basic geometry, and Jason knows a lot about knives. Obviously, he makes them, and he goes through that. But a lot of people don't really pay attention to what makes a good knife and how well does it cut and all that. But basically, to me, it's a few different things. One is, of course, how thick the blade is. The thinnest you can get with maintaining a good strength, the better off you'll be. The width of the blade makes a huge difference. And along with that comes the grind. Now, this knife is almost a full flat grind. So you have basically from about the top here all the way down is the grind. It tapers down smooth. There's no hollow grind to it. It's just flat. And that makes a fantastic cutting edge. Not only that, now you're taking into the fact that we have a claw. Now, here's what I love about claws. If you go through nature, just, pick an animal, pretty much, a predator anyway, and look at the shape of the weapons, if you will, that it has, you'll pretty much find that it's probably going to be something like this. Look at any big cat, look at dogs, look at birds, look at snakes. They all have this for a weapon. Many sharks even have this kind of shape to it, if you will. But in general, this is just probably one of the best designs as a weapon that you could possibly have. It's great for gutting. It's great just for as a slasher, a great slashing knife. And overall, this knife is just a fantastic design. Now, you look at this and immediately you kind of think, oh, that looks just like a karambit. And it is basically a karambit, other than the fact it doesn't have the hole. Now, I like that and dislike it for the obvious reasons. I dislike it because you no longer have that retention. I like it, however, because as far as grabbing it and going with it, it's a lot faster. I don't find myself trying to find the hole or anything like that, which, not that that's a big concern for me in my use with karambits, but for someone who's just getting into knives or something like that, maybe that might be, an issue. Now, this knife is very small, has a very small handle. My pinky goes right on there, but it's actually comfortable. I don't have a problem at all with this knife. As you can see, the handle doesn't even go all the way through your hand, and your pinky is resting right on there. If you have bigger hands, it might even just come off the edge here, but I've got kind of small hands. Now, this knife, like I said, it's 01 tool steel. Now, one thing that's really cool that Jason does with a lot of his 01 tool steel knives is, I'm trying to focus in on that a little bit. There you go. You can kind of see this a bit of a line going across here. What that is actually a Haman, and he does that the right way. In other words, it's done during the tempering and the hardening of the blade. A lot of places do it as an etch, um, like using a sharpening stone if it's laminated steel, different stuff like that. Basically, this is just a simple O1 tool steel, and clay is put on the edge portion of it so that when it's hardened, or rather tempered back, excuse me, the heat is lower on the edge. So uh, during the tempering process, which basically means that that part won't be tempered back. So it remains extremely hard, but you have a softer back. So when stuff is being cut and you're putting pressure on that knife, the back of the blade kind of cushions it. So it's not all one hard ching, like snap in two piece. It's very hard here and very soft back here. So that's a really good way of doing it. Now, again, the design of this is like a Talon kind of knife. How I prefer to carry it kind of just depends on my day, actually. If I'm carrying it for self-defense, I'll usually carry it like this. If I think, I'm just going to work or whatever, I'll carry it usually either on my left hand side just for either a cross draw, or I'll just carry it on my right side just for a standard draw. Now the sheath that comes with this is just like all of his sheaths. It's an ABS or a Kydex. I'm not sure which on this one. It feels like a Kydex, but whatever. The Kydex is really nice. It retains the knife really well. It's not coming out of there. With this design, however, one thing that you have to pay attention to is that simply drawing it straight up is not going to do it really. You have to pull it out at a almost like a crescent type and put it back the same way in a crescent type pattern. Now it does retain very well, but you also need to make sure that you can get it out, and if it's an emergency self-defense situation or just an emergency in general, you're going to want to make sure that you practice with it and be able to get it out quickly. The cutting capabilities of this knife, I didn't think it would be that great, but I have to tell you, I have never used a knife that cuts so well in my life. Um, I use this knife a lot at work just because it's small. I can easily, it's excuse bad example. Easily concealable. And then it goes right to work. But the reason it does so well is because as I'm holding it, let's say I'm cutting a cardboard box, maybe you have your material, and the angle that it meets it at is just perfect for the cutting, and it's exactly where it needs to be. I don't know if that was how Jason designed this knife, or if he just kind of threw it together and said, well, that'll be good. But either way, he did an amazing job. And again, Jason, if you're watching, fantastic job once again on another great knife. Um, Jason is out of the Philippines right now doing all of his knives there, basically to keep costs down. And he does a very good job of keeping those costs down. So I try to do a little bit for him on YouTube, getting his name out there. But he does an amazing job, guys. I highly recommend you going to try and get a couple of his knives. I have a ton of them, and I'll be doing reviews on all of them. I already have a couple of reviews out there now on some of his Kiridashis. But this is an amazing blade, and you'd be remiss to not have one of these. You have 3/16 of an inch thick steel on this one. I think. No, excuse me. No, it's 1/8. 1/8 of an inch thick steel on this blade. Um, and that combined with this fantastic grind just really makes it an amazing cutter. In a self-defense situation, holding it like this is going to be great, as well as in a forward style grip. I find that drawing the knife, it's actually easier to draw it in a reverse grip or on a cross draw, because the cross draw is kind of naturally, you can do this, and that just opens it up nice and easy. But with this, what I like about it is that you can hold it like this. You have your thumb reinforcement right there. and you can actually just hit with the back of the blade if you don't want to go with a lethal application. So that works out. What you have here is also a cord wrapped handle. It's some sort of nylon wrap, and he silicones all of his cord wrapped handles, or not silicones, but laminates all of his cord wrapped handles, and that makes it extremely, extremely tough. It's very, very difficult to unwrap this, and I wouldn't want to ever. But I mean, these, you know, they're just, you can hear it maybe. It's solid on there. It's almost like plastic at that point, but it has this beautiful look to it. And yeah, he does an amazing job of his wrapping, and he does it nice and tight. And there's really, there's no frayed ends or anything like that, and it just comes out beautifully. You can kind of see that shine that it has, and it is just a beautiful, beautiful wrapping job, and just a really, really good knife to have. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, for me, just email me at learniaido at AOL.com. That's learniaido at AOL.com. Or leave me a comment in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I check my email, though, every day. If you email me, put YouTube in the subject box, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I probably won't get back to you if I don't know who it's from. I don't answer my email. So if you're going to do that, then please email me. Put YouTube in the subject box. But if you have any questions for Jason, it's ECOSknives.com. That's one word. And, he has a contact me page or whatever. And so definitely, inquire about his knives. He's got a few of them up there. Again, today is the 8th of February 2011, and he has some up there now. So take a look at them. They're not all like this. He's got all kinds of designs. Look at his previous work and everything, and you will see all kinds of stuff that he has. So definitely check it out. But again, if you guys have any questions, email me, leave me a comment, and a rating of 5 stars. Feel free to subscribe or anything like that too. I'll be posting a lot more videos on his knives and others as time allows and that kind of thing. But if you guys have any questions, email me. And yeah, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And again, ECOSknives claw style or Talon style knife.